Welcome to our Middle East briefing program. Today, we dive into the heated remarks made by President Trump regarding Gaza, where he proposed a plan that denies Palestinians the right of return, igniting a storm of outrage among the Palestinian community. His comments suggest that instead of returning home, they could find better housing in neighboring countries, a notion that many find unacceptable. In another gripping development, Trump has issued a stark warning to Hamas, declaring that if Israeli hostages are not released by the weekend, all hell will break loose. This statement has raised alarms about potential military actions and reflects the escalating tensions surrounding the hostage situation, particularly after reports of severe conditions faced by those still in captivity. Lastly, we turn our attention to the world of technology, where the Chinese AI startup DeepSeek is making waves. Despite skepticism about its capabilities compared to giants like OpenAI, DeepSeek is reshaping China's tech landscape and boosting national confidence in AI. Its open-source models are driving a significant push for AI integration across various sectors, marking a pivotal shift in China's technological ambitions. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. Deutsche Welle reports that U.S. President Donald Trump has stated that Palestinians will not be granted the right to return to Gaza under a proposed U.S. plan. Instead, he suggested that Gazans would receive much better housing in neighboring countries, which has sparked significant outrage among Palestinians. Trump's comments came during an interview on Fox News, where he outlined his vision for the region, disregarding the long-standing Palestinian claim to return to their homeland. In a separate statement covered by The Independent, Trump issued a stern warning to Hamas, threatening that all hell is going to break out if the militant group fails to release all Israeli hostages by noon on Saturday. He expressed his dissatisfaction with the condition of previously released hostages, comparing their emaciated appearance to that of Holocaust survivors. Trump emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating that if the hostages were not returned by the deadline, the ceasefire agreement with Hamas should be reconsidered, leaving Israel to make the final decision on the matter. According to the South China Morning Post, the emergence of the AI startup DeepSeek has significant implications for China, extending beyond mere technological advancements. While experts argue that DeepSeek's models are not superior to those developed by Western companies, the startup has instilled a sense of confidence in China amid ongoing technology rivalries with the U.S. DeepSeek's success has prompted a wave of AI adoption across various sectors in China, as local businesses and manufacturers rush to integrate its open-source models into their products. This development represents a crucial step towards democratizing AI in the Chinese economy, enhancing the competitiveness of Chinese products on the global stage. BBC reports that the trial of Hadi Muttar, the man accused of brutally stabbing the acclaimed author Salman Rushdie, has commenced in New York. Prosecutors have painted a harrowing picture of the attack, describing how Muttar approached Rushdie from behind and plunged a knife into him multiple times, leaving the author with life-altering injuries, including the loss of sight in one eye. Witnesses recounted the chaos that erupted during the attack, with many attendees screaming and rushing to the stage in horror. Muttar, who has pleaded not guilty, faces serious charges that could lead to over 30 years in prison if convicted. The trial is expected to last up to 10 days, with Rushdie anticipated to testify. New York Times highlights the United Nations' decision to suspend all humanitarian operations in a significant Houthi-controlled area of northern Yemen due to the arbitrary detention of its staff. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres announced this measure after the Houthis arrested 8 more employees, violating a prior agreement aimed at safeguarding UN personnel. The humanitarian crisis in Yemen is dire, with 80% of the population in need of aid, and the UN has identified this region as facing the largest humanitarian disaster globally. The suspension of aid operations has raised concerns about the impact on millions of vulnerable Yemenis reliant on essential services such as food and medical supplies. Australian Broadcasting Corporation covers the recent raid by Israeli police on a Palestinian-run bookshop in East Jerusalem, where books were seized, including a children's coloring book. The shop has been a cultural hub for over 40 years, but police claim that the materials contained insightful material. Family members of the shop's owners were arrested and faced charges related to disturbing public peace. The defense argues that this is a politically motivated detention, asserting that it infringes on freedom of expression. Outside the courthouse, supporters rallied against what they perceive as increasing authoritarianism in Israel, drawing historical parallels to past acts of censorship and repression. Despite the arrests, the Muna family remains resolute in their commitment to their literary mission, emphasizing the importance of their work beyond mere profit. New York Times, the harrowing accounts of Israeli hostages released from Gaza have raised alarms for the families of those still in captivity. The three men, Eli Sharabi, or Levi, and Ohad Ben-Ami, emerged from their 16-month ordeal looking emaciated and traumatized, prompting urgent calls for the continuation of a ceasefire deal that had facilitated their release. Their families received distressing reports about the brutal conditions faced by remaining captives, including starvation and torture. While Hamas claims to treat its hostages well, the released individuals' poor health contradicts these assertions, underscoring the dire situation for those still held. The ongoing negotiations for further hostage releases have been complicated by Hamas's announcement to postpone future exchanges, citing alleged Israeli ceasefire violations. The Independent, President Trump has reignited his trade war by announcing a new round of tariffs on imported steel and aluminum, echoing similar measures from his first term in 2018. These tariffs, set at 25%, aim to bolster domestic production but have already sparked concerns about retaliatory actions from major trading partners like Canada and Mexico, which are significant sources of U.S. steel imports. The previous round of tariffs led to a notable decline in imports but also resulted in backlash, including retaliatory tariffs from the EU that targeted American goods. Analysts predict that while the immediate impact may be damaging to demand, there could be long-term investment benefits for the U.S. steel and aluminum industries. However, the potential for increased costs for American manufacturers raises questions about the broader economic implications of Trump's renewed tariffs. Al Jazeera, the Super Bowl halftime show became an unexpected platform for activism when a performer briefly showcased the flags of Sudan and Palestine, symbolizing the ongoing struggles of these marginalized communities. This act of defiance highlighted the systematic suppression of their narratives by mainstream media, which often overlooks their suffering. Both Palestinian and Sudanese activists have faced immense challenges in gaining visibility, resorting to protests and social media campaigns to draw attention to their plight. Despite the lack of coverage for significant mobilizations, such as a recent protest in Washington, D.C., where over 400,000 gathered to advocate for Palestinian rights, the resilience of these communities persists. The Super Bowl moment served as a reminder that, even in the face of censorship, their voices will continue to break through, challenging the narratives imposed by those in power. Yahoo US reported that the Super Bowl halftime performer who raised a flag combining the Sudanese and Palestinian flags during Kendrick Lamar's performance will not face legal charges, according to New Orleans police. However, the NFL has imposed a lifetime ban on the individual from attending any NFL events. The performer, part of a 400-member ensemble, made a bold statement by standing on a car trunk and displaying the flag, which featured the words Sudan and Gaza adorned with hearts, symbolizing the ongoing humanitarian crises in both regions. After the unexpected display, security swiftly intervened, leading to the protesters' removal from the stadium. The NFL and Roc Nation clarified that the flag was not part of the official halftime show, emphasizing that the production team was unaware of the protesters' intentions prior to the performance. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Morning coffee, fresh off the press. Reading headlines, feeling blessed. World keeps turning, stories unfold. Every moment, news gets told. Flipping channels, clicking tabs. Feeding my mind's hunger grabs. Facts and figures, images bright. News keeps rolling day and night. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough. Learning about the world, yeah, it's my stuff. to know. Never stopping, always go. Scrolling, swiping, reading on. Daylight breaks into dawn. Headlines and headlines, can't get enough.